Hands-on Equation Lesson 17 is the first lesson in Level 3, which introduces us to our green cubes. So in Level 3, we'll be using all 4 elements of our sets. In Lesson 17 specifically, we'll be focusing on just these red and green cubes as we add and subtract integers. So in Hands-on Equation, our red cubes represent positive integers, while our green cubes represent negative integers. When we think about those positive and negative integers, it's important for us to understand that if we were to pair a green cube and a red cube with the same integer, that would create a zero pair. In this case, we have -2 plus a +2, and that would equal 0. You could also call the zero pairs an opposite pair. So let's look at how to use these cubes to add and subtract integers. We'll start with addition first. Let's say I'm adding a +3 and a +5. When we're adding together cubes that are the same color, our answer is also going to be the same color, and we just need to add together the digits on the cubes. So 3 and 5 is 8, and since they're both red, my 8 will also be red. So +3 plus a +5 is +8. The same is true if I'm adding together 2 green cubes. -3, which is a green 3, and -5, which is a green 5. Because they're the same color, I just add the 2 digits together. 3 and 5 is 8, and I keep the same color or keep the same sign. -3 plus -5 is -8. Now, if I'm adding together 2 cubes that are different colors, I need to go about it a little bit different. So I have a -3 and I have a +5. I have 2 different colors, and I want to make cubes of the same color. So what I'm going to do is just rewrite or represent one of those cubes in a slightly different way. And I always want to swap out the larger digit cube. So in this case, 5 is a larger digit than 3. So instead of using the 5 cube, I'm going to swap out the 5 for a red 3 and a red 2. It's still worth a +5. But now what I've done is by using that 3 and 2, I've created a zero pair. I can slide this +3 over, and a -3 plus a +3 is 0. So I am left with a 2. So -3 plus a +5 is equal to a +2. Let's try another one where I'm adding together cubes of different colors. I have -5 plus a +3. Again, I have cubes of a different color, so I need to do a little bit of a swap. I'm going to swap out the cube that has the larger digit, in this case, the -5. So I'm going to rewrite it as a 3 and a 2. Now I chose a 3 and a 2 because I wanted to create this zero pair, so that I'm left with just the -2, which is my answer to -5 plus a +3. Well, we can use these cubes to subtract integers as well. I have a -10, and they want me to subtract a -5, but I don't have a -5 cube to subtract. So I'm going to rewrite my -10. I'm going to represent it as 2 -5s because -5 plus -5 is -10. By doing that, I can complete my expression of subtracting a -5. And what I'm left with is -5. So I can subtract by just doing a little bit of a swap of a green cube for a different representation. Let's try another one. I have a +5. And I need to subtract a -3, but I don't have a green 3 here. So what I can do is use that power of a zero pair because I know a green cube and a red cube with the same integers paired together equals 0. So I can, in order to get this -3, I'm going to create a 0 pair of 3s. I'll pull up a green 3 and a red 3. By doing that, I've created a 0 pair, so it's still worth 5, but now I can go ahead and subtract that -3. Now I've got cubes of the same color, so I can just add together their digits. 5 and 3 is 8, and keep the same color. So 5 minus a -3 is equal to a +8. Let's try another one. -5, so a green 5, minus a +2. But I don't have a red 2 to take away. So I'm going to use that power of a 0 pair. I'm going to pull a green 2 and a red 2. Again, that's worth 0, so I haven't changed the value at all. But now by doing that, I can subtract that +2. And now I have 2 cubes of the same color, so I add together 5 and 2 is 7, and I keep the same color. So this is worth a -7. -5 minus a +2 is -7. So in today's lesson, the first of lesson 3, or level 3, you learned what green cubes represent. They're negative integers. And you learned that if you pair together a green cube and a red cube with the same digit, it's worth 0. And you can use the cubes to add integers of the same color, add integers of different colors, as well as subtract integers.